help.
It is Friday, the weekend is here, it's Gang of Four. We're going to kick around the big story of the week, and we might work a few other things in with our gang. We'll meet them. You're invited to be a part of it. You can hang with the gang at 599-5555 and vote in today's JR poll. Later on in our show, the author of a new book called 33 Revolutions Per Minute, a history of protest songs. We'll see if some of your favorites made the list. On Gang of Four today, the hard-working sports director at Ken's 5, Joe Reinagel. Joe, welcome back.
Jack, thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Not only welcome back to the show, but obviously welcome back to your old stomping grounds.
It's always a good homecoming to come home. Still a lot of familiar faces around here to see, so it's good.
And of course, you know, it's not like you left the place to go, you know, sell real estate or something. I mean, you went to television, so you can come back and, you know, not feel remorseful or like, gee, I wish I was still here. Or you don't wish you were still here.
No, I really don't.
Okay, good. I like that.
It's good
I
to
like
be
the
back.
honesty of this man.
It's good to be back today.
He's like, I am so done with that place. I thought you were going to be polite and go, oh, yeah,
it was a
the
great
finest
place.
years of my life. Don't start that.
It was a great place, but it's a long time. It was a lifetime ago.
That was
Jack.
a long time ago. Now, how combined radio and television, how long have you been on the air in San Antonio?
About 20 years, I guess.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He's only 25 years old.
I know, it's crazy. It's unbelievable.
All right, Joe Reinagel is here. Also, Dr. Masarrat Ali, a businessman, former candidate for the Texas House. He ran last year unsuccessfully in District 122. Made a great impression on a lot of people. Do you get people coming up to you urging you to run again, Dr. Ali?
Yes, that's what I hear most of the time.
And will you make that announcement on our show today?
I don't have any immediate plans, but I have not given it up altogether.
All right.
You know, it takes a lot.
The door is open.
Yes, it takes a lot for a person of my background to decide to run for public office.
Yeah.
And after a few months, you give up. I mean, this is not a one-time stint. Either you are in it or you are not. So I'll keep my options open.
All right, very good. Welcome back to our show as well. And Jim Eskin, who we've had on Gang of Four for years and years, publishes stratagems.org, which is a newsletter, Jim, that kind of takes topical items, you know, news items, kind of ties them in to trends. You look at trends, you look at history.
And good morning, Jack. It's great to be here.
Yes.
And, you know, if we don't agree on everything, we enjoy that process of not agreeing on everything.
What Jim is saying is that when you're sending me an email an hour from now going, I can't believe you had that guy on, Jim will be the guy that you're referring to. All right, well, look, Al-Qaeda has confirmed the death of Osama bin Laden, so I guess we can, you know, we were all on pins and needles about this, but even they agree he's dead. They warn that our happiness will soon turn to sadness. Of course, Jim, as a Red Sox fan, knows that feeling.
It's something, by the way, for the record, we share in common.
Yes, we do.
We agree on nothing else.
The statement said, we remain, God willing, a curse, chasing the Americans and their agents, following them, blah, 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 blah. Any doubt that he's dead? Did we all agree that he is, in fact, dead? They did get him. This is not a cover-up.
Hey, in 1 minute, we've already agreed.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
That's going to be
I'd say he's very dead.
He's very dead. What about the flip-flop? There's going to be photographic evidence. Now we're not going to release the photos. What about that decision?
Well, you know, our president can't stand success. That's his problem. I mean, this guy has been a great day for him. He makes a great decision, in my opinion. He gets credit for that. And then he goes and his whole administration is just all over the place, and they can't stand success. It's amazing to me how this guy just can't bask in it for a little while without stepping on his feet.
Anybody else?
Well, you know, I don't understand what the compelling reasons are to release the photo. I think the important thing is he is dead. There's no doubt about that. And I think the important thing is to look 10 years later, you know, this is kind of validation of our way of life, our values, our system have prevailed very nicely, and the other side has not. I don't see what is to be gained by releasing the photo. I think the right call was made.
Dr. Ali, where do you come down on this?
I think the issues are a little more complex than we are given the indication in this country. There are a lot of countries involved, and they are involved in the fight on terror. Many countries, and they have to be kept in confidence as well. So I think for the most part, for me as well as most of the gentlemen sitting here, and as you can see, most of the people in this country, they are convinced that he is dead and he is gone for good. But I think in the long term, they have to gain the confidence and the trust of the rest of the countries who have been with us, that yes, this is what happened, we were a party to it, and we need to see all that. So I think at some point it will be made available, but I'm not sure if this is the right time to make it available to us.
Does anybody doubt that regardless of this policy, the pictures are going to come out? I mean, we live in the WikiLeaks age, so unofficially or whatever, they're probably going to be out at some point, right?
Yeah, I think there will be, and I think maybe you misunderstood. I don't really care that the photos get out. What I'm talking about is President Obama, and it just seems like they are, I mean, it's just it's a carnival over there, for lack of a better word. Nobody knows what the other guy is doing, and I think that's what I was trying to refer to.
And, you know, I would agree, but on a carnival, you imagine if we put the photos out right away, talk about a carnival, I think it's all putting it in perspective.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's about, you know, it's about what we stand for, not these photos.
Do you ever stop and think about how much this one man changed our lives, changed the course of history? Do you realize how much has been justified in terms of laws, in terms of the invasion of privacy, in terms of the preemption or the arguable preemption of even civil rights in the name of Osama bin Laden and what he did? So much has been hung on him that we have a real stake in this. We can't sit here and go, I don't really need to see the pictures, I don't really care. This isn't about whether or not you want to see them. This government has done so much in the name of the threat of terrorism. We have to insist on full disclosure. We have to insist that they include us. We have to insist that presidents, whoever they are, this president, any president, don't act as the gatekeepers of information. We are entitled to know this. Now, you may not want to look at them, and that's fine. I don't want to spend hours, you know, gazing at them myself. But we have a right to them. And it's the wrong question to ask what would be gained, or do we need to see them? Do you really want presidents sitting there deciding what you need to know? Isn't too much of that going on
Jack,
already?
I'm glad you bring that up. I mean, I felt good. I thought it was important that we preserved basic liberties over the last 10 years, and we saw some chipping away at it. But I think
more than chipping away.
Well, I'll tell you about. Okay, good. You and I agree on that. But I think America reacted to September 11th, 2001 very differently than December 7th, 1941, when we interned all sorts of thousands of good Japanese American citizens. I think we made a lot of progress forward. I think those are the key issues of personal liberties. I think this deal with the photos, to me, is more of this circus atmosphere that we put around very serious events, and you know, in our
But Jim, let me
days.
substitute the photos for some other important decision. Do you want presidents to decide that it would be a circus atmosphere to present evidence of who was responsible for a terrorist attack, or to present evidence of justifying the invasion of another country, or to present evidence of a crime? Do you want the American president or the White House or any government official to say, you know what, Jim, it'd be too much of a circus for you to have this information. We'll just keep it ourselves.
No,
think about what you're saying.
No, but I'm thinking like on November 27, 1963, I mean, a lot of discretion was exercised in what was released from the Kennedy assassination, because a lot of things were gore, you know? And
look what
where
that got us.
huh?
We got 50 years of nobody believing the official story.
Well, I don't know about that.
And now pictures are all over the internet.
Well, at least nobody is saying that he is not dead. Right now, the issue is whether he is dead or alive. And I think, as you said, it's not a question of whether we have to know, but I think a lot of people in this country The last survey it was taken, they say 56% of the Americans would like to see the pictures, or they would like to see the proof released.
It's the principle of the thing to me, Dr. Ali. It's the principle of our government, which is supposed to be of the people, treating us like babies and deciding what we need and what we don't need. Look, they didn't think we needed to know what was in the health care bill either. You'll find out after we pass it. I mean, I'm tired of that attitude.
Well,
and it's both parties, and it's been going on too long.
Let me ask, isn't that same thought that there's some people just would not be satisfied? Some people in America are not satisfied that there's proof that President Obama was born in the United States. I mean, what does it take, you know, do we have to prove everything 100 million times?
Well, first of all, I think that's a different matter. That was a personal decision on his part to fade the political heat by releasing the birth certificate.
No, I'm talking.
And you're right. Of course, that isn't an excuse to not include the American people in information they should have. The fact that some people will be, you know, hard-headed about it or give you grief about it. Look, you chose to be in government. You got to live with that. You know, you got to live with the truthers and the birthers and the what do we call these people? The livers.
To those who question whether President Obama was born in the United States, what do we have to do to prove it?
You don't have to do anything. But here's my point. You put out all the information. Now, what people do with that information is up to them. That's their choice. But you can't say we're not going to tell the American people because some of them won't accept it or some of them will question it. This is a very dangerous precedent, I think. We all had a stake on that mission. The 9/11 attack changed every one of our lives.
Absolutely.
And we cannot say it's none of our business, we don't need to know, they'll tell us what we need to know and when. I mean, what happened to this country, Joe Reinagel?
Yeah, I mean,
we ran a president out of office 30 or 40 years ago because he wasn't telling the truth about relatively minor stuff he was doing inside the White House.
Well, I mean, and you're right. It's both parties, but it's certainly been prevalent over the last 2.5 years. I think this president has come in and told us exactly what we need to do and exactly how we need to live. His wife now is going out and changing, you know, kids' lunches and telling us what we can and can't eat. And it's getting ridiculous. I guess what bothers me about these photos, I could care less whether I see them or not. I trust the military. They say he's dead. I trust them. What bothers me is you've got Panetta saying one thing, you've got Obama saying another, you've got his little his PR guy saying something else. This administration just cannot seem to get it all together. Make a decision and be united in that decision. I mean, my goodness, the raid itself, that story has changed about 3 or 4 times since it was announced. So they just don't seem to know what each other is doing, and it seems again like a circus atmosphere. And I'm not talking about the photos, I'm talking about the President of the United States.
All right, we're back with more Gang of Four on a Friday morning. You can jump into it at 599-5555. We'll get to some of those phone calls, but first, Karen in the newsroom at 1021.
President Obama will go to Fort Campbell, Kentucky today to meet with